Alright, here is my newest project. I decided to build an arcade cabinet. I did the artwork on the outside, designed the marquee artwork as well, control panel artwork. That right there is going to be a USB port when I get it in the mail. All I did was I did not cut the wood. I got the wood and I applied the printed artwork that I had printed out. I've done all the interior wiring, which is a lot. You can see the Raspberry Pi in there. That's the system running everything. This is an old computer screen that I actually took apart. It had speakers, which the speakers have now been wired up through here. I also want to show you the side of, which is the artwork is different over here. You can see Rain Man down there. Several other characters across multiple retro systems. The back, there's a door that opens up. And I actually have two buttons up here, which are volume control for the TV. Also have two controllers down here for players 3 and 4, and also to be used with systems like the PlayStation and N64 that I have running through this system. Alright, I'm going to power it on. Alright. The light in the marquee just came on. The screen is now coming on. It's loading up. Added that splash screen. I thought it was pretty cool. Matches my marquee. Added some background music in the menu selection. I do plan on doing some type of bezel around the outside here, so you can't see all the wiring and whatnot in the back. Because you actually can see the wiring going up to the control buttons for the volume up top. And I will just show that these do work. So here we go. We've got standard arcade games. Don't have many of those right now. I do have a lot more through the MAME system, which is basically arcade games as well. Got Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. There's MAME. I've got Sega Mega Drive, also known as Sega Genesis. N64. Actually, I have a couple of DS games that work pretty well. Of course, the original Nintendo Entertainment System. Ports is just access to. I can actually convert this to a desktop for when I want to move files around and stuff. PlayStation. Retropie is the kind of the front loader of this whole system, and it's what I use to do a lot of the programming stuff. This is actually the settings option. Super Nintendo, again back to the arcade, and each of those have games in them. As you go through, we got Batman Forever, Battletoads again, Contra, Super Mario World, Final Fantasy. Actually, that's a rebuild of the game. After Dr. Mario World, which is just it's basically a ROM hack. I actually can switch left and right through the different systems. There's the settings. Here's the PlayStation games. I have a 32 gigabyte memory in here. I'm using an SD card, and it's actually starting to run out of room. So I might figure I either have to cut back on what I've added in here or just change some stuff around. Now, the N64 games, some of these don't work, so I'll probably end up removing them. I've heard Mario Tennis doesn't work at all. I haven't even tried. Pokemon Snap I know doesn't work. Star Fox I don't think works. Mario 64 does work, and that's one of my favorites, so I'm glad that I've got that actually set up and works well. I actually use the controllers for that, just because my control panel down here doesn't have enough buttons to properly emulate a traditional 64. So But things like the Sega here, I've got plenty of buttons down there for that. As you can see, some systems I don't have a ton for. I don't have a bunch of Game Boy Color stuff on here. I'm trying to back up most of the games I actually own. I'm testing out a couple other games in case I want to buy them, but I try to have games on here that I actually own, or I've owned and have no idea where the cartridge is. So, well, it's been an awesome project. Got it done. Started working on it day before my daughter was born, and so I had to then sporadically work on it the last several days to try to figure out what I'm doing to finish it up. I actually just added the this trim around the edges. It's called T-molding. It was a little bit of a pain. It's not perfect. I definitely would do it differently if I could do it again, but once it started to get on there, it'd be a pain to get it off. It'd be worse to get it off and try to put it back on, but it actually turned out pretty well. The artwork worked out pretty well. I'm not the happiest about how some of it turned out. If I actually get close enough here, you can see that when I was working on it, the resolution for this particular picture of Luigi, it was not high enough for when it actually printed. Mario is much better. You don't see a whole lot of that, and then Peach, you don't really see it at all. It was very high res when I was working on her. I basically took a bunch of characters and edited the colors so that they were red, gold, and white, as if they had the fire power up for Mario, and then that's why I named it the Power Up Arcade. So, all right, hope you enjoyed this.